Hi everyone, welcome back to Spoilers with Connor, with me, Connor. Today I'm going to be reviewing episode 7 of Euphoria season 3. Let's get into it. Guys, ignore how sweaty I am. It's really hot here in the UK if you're watching from anywhere else. It's horrible, so bear with me. I look tired, my glasses are slipping off me because of the sweat. So very fun, very sexy, very, very hot. Anyway, let's get into it. So we'll start off with the opening. I really, really enjoyed this moment of Ali. Regardless, this character, he is fantastic. This was a great opening. The only issue that I have with it, it came way too late in the series, and in this season. We've got like one more episode left after this, and the character's been in one scene this entire time, this season. So to now get his backstory and to understand him as a character is a bit of a wasted uh 20 minutes, but it was a brilliant 20 minutes. Like, I really did like it. I really enjoyed the character, and to see him and his struggle and him trying to help other people, and then you have COVID and then he can't help these people. Very dangerous stuff, that he's like putting himself through. He's obviously been he is an addict. He's not using anymore. However, there's other people that are and need his help, and he can't help them due to COVID. Very real things, that happens, and I'm sure it did happen. Very sad, very tragic, and then we see that the young man who tragically loses his life to drugs. Very sad. It got me. I had to pause it and just be like, okay, rein yourself in a bit, because it's a lot. It was a lot to watch, so I really do appreciate that whole opening. But again, like the whole, I think it was like 10 minutes. The whole sequence was done very well. However, it's just way too late. Like, I don't think the show didn't deserve to show his story, if that makes any sense. Like, we haven't spent any time with the character all season. He was a big part of season 1 and 2, especially that episode that they filmed throughout COVID, which again is my favourite episode. It's like the special that they did. And throughout the entire episode, it's just Rue and him having a conversation, and it's fantastic. Fantastic. And if we had this episode like later on, like this moment, this flashback, if we had this like a couple of episodes later, great, it would have been brilliant. But we had flashbacks to characters that we don't even see now. Like, is it Kat? She's not even a character anymore. There was another guy that Cassie was dating. Never heard of him. Never heard from him again. But we had these characters intros, and we just they're not in this season. Yet now we're getting Ali, whatever. We're getting this character's backstory, and we've barely spent any time with them this season. It's just a bit of a waste. But I'll give it props. It was done very well, and the feelings were there. There was like the acting when he was with his wife and his kid, and essentially he's abusive, and it was hard to watch. It was hard to see this character that we've never seen like that act like that. It's a lot to take in, but incredible performance. It was written very well. I think Rue says this line. Let me find it. She says, "Short-term desires become long-term patterns," which is just fantastic. It really is. It really sums up addiction and substance abuse very well. And it sums up that whole story that we saw with Ali, whatever. Cannot say his name. It's too hot to even think about it. Anyway, next. So we start the episode off with Alamo and Laurie kind of setting up their, I don't know what you want to call it, their substance thing. Can we say drugs? Anyway, they're setting it all up. They're setting up their plan. Everyone knows what they're doing. Cool. I don't really know what they're doing, but they're taking 2 women as well, so that's important to note. But I'm not too sure what's going on, but I know that the police are listening, and that's when the police are going to get them, so I understand that. And then we get Rue talking to Lexi. This scene really annoyed me, because I'm like, I don't know what Sam Levinson is doing with Lexi. She's been a favourite character since last season. She was very likeable. She kind of saw the bullshit from people, and then in this episode, she just really shits on Rue. Sorry for my language, but she does. Rue essentially is telling her, I found God, which, I'm also like, I don't believe in God, so I'm trying to be respectful, but I'm like, okay, cool, sure, whatever. Good for you. As long as she's happy and it works for her, I'm all for it. But in my head, I'm like, okay, that's not for me. But for Rue as a character, it makes perfect sense. And then Lexi's just like, are you on drugs again? Are you taking? You're on drugs, like, talk to me when you're normal, I guess. And she didn't say those words. And Rue's just looking at her like, no, like, I'm fine, like, I'm not high. And Lexi's just dismissive of her the entire scene. And I was just like, why are we writing Lexi like this? Why is, like, some good character... Well, Cassie gets the main stage all the bloody time. Why is Lexi now automatically just dislikable? Same as, what's her... No, she was always kind of... What's her name? Ugh. Jules. Jules is also kind of disliked. Like, for me, I don't like Jules at all. I think Rue's absolutely right. She's selfish. She only cares about herself. Like, she says it last season, and I agree to this season as well. She's very selfish. I do not care for Jules. But she wasn't in this episode, so we're not talking about her. But Lexi, yeah, I'm just like, girl, do one. Like, what are you doing? You're just rude, dismissive, and I don't appreciate it. So Sam Levinson. But it is important to note that Rue does tell Lexi about what she's going through with the two gangs, we'll call them, or, you know, I don't know what to call them. I can't say certain words because of monetization and all that, but, you know, the two big bads of the series, and Lexi now knows, which comes into play much later on. Later on, we get Rue, and she goes to visit Ollie. And in this scene, he basically tells her, like, if you're in trouble, I got your back and all this. And, like, you know, no one hurts the people I love. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute. Last season, you were helping Rue and you were, like, giving her, like, the truth, you know, the truth that she needed to hear all the time. Like, get clean, sort yourself out. You're not high. Everyone knows you're high when you say you're not. Like, you know what I mean? He was very truthful. He was, like, her Jiminy Cricket in a sense. He was her wise older Gandalf, or what's his name, Dumbledore. You know, he was he was the mentor character. And in this one, he's like, yeah, I'm your ride or die. I got you and all this. And I'm like, I get he can probably see that she is clean, but I don't know. I just felt like very out of character. I know we saw his backstory and that he does help people. Granted, I get it, but I don't think he would have been like, because he's like, yeah, I'm ready to, and then he refers to having a gun and all this. And I'm like, I don't think he would have done that, but okay, cool, whatever. It didn't seem in character for me, but I liked it. I like that he is on her side regardless, and he's a great actor. So, and Zendaya, those two together, they really play. That's the best Zendaya has been with another person. She's great when she's alone, but when she's with someone else, this is one of the best times that she's like showing off her acting. Guys, I can't even think. It's so hot. Rue also tells him that she saw God and God spoke to her. Oh, well, she didn't see him. Anyway, God spoke to her and there's a homestead and that is her promised land, which is just telling me that she's going to end up on a farm, or she'll die and see the farm in her mind and that's where she'll go when she's dead or something. I think it's going to be one or the two. I don't know how Rue can make it out. I hope she does. I think the character does deserve a lot of redemption for what she has done and what she has, you know, been through herself. I think addiction is such an important part of this character and how she's hurt so many people because of her addiction. So I think she deserves some kind of redemption. And I don't want it to be in death necessarily. Like, I don't want her to die to be redeemed. Let me know what you guys think on that. Do you think Rue has to die to be redeemed, or do you think there's other ways she can help people? Like Ollie, like, he helps people all the time to make up for what he done, and also he knows the struggle. So do you think that's Rue's journey also? But let me know down below, please. Ollie does bring up a great point, and he says all those substances you smuggled that have killed people, and it only happens in America. Like, certain, I don't want to say the word, the substance, but it's killed people. And do you feel guilty about that? And Rue, you know, she does, and she ultimately says, you know, she wants redemption for it, and this is a way of getting redemption by putting away these drug lords, whatever they want to call them. And I think that was brilliant. I like that Rue is ready to shut them down. But she felt very hardcore, which I liked. But also I was like, it's a bit weird to see her like this, because we always see her quite vulnerable. So to see her actually take action when it's not just about substances, which is pretty cool. So I'll take the win on that one. Ali also mentions that what Ruth says to him, that when she heard God, was about going to the promised land and all this, and he says Moses doesn't make it to the promised land. Then Rue disagrees with him. I don't really know a lot about Moses, if I'm honest with you. I haven't read the Bible. I don't plan to. However, if you do know why Rue disagrees with him, let me know, please, down below. And yeah, we'll have a discussion about it. Like, I'm happy to talk about religion. I'm not religious. But the entire scene is fantastic. Those two just acting against each other. Rue's crying. The fact that he's a lot more gentle with her this season. Normally he's quite brash, and I feel like the last time they saw each other in this season, Rue was using, and I think he was a bit more like rough with her, but he's been really harsh with her in the past, but not harsh in a bad way, like she kind of deserved it. But I really like their interactions and how, he's kind of like a father figure now, which is, sweet. But she hasn't mentioned her dad actually this season. I've just noticed she hasn't mentioned her dad at all, where it was a big driving factor the last 2 seasons to why she takes substances, so she can kind of see and feel closer to him. But it was also pulling her away from that. Very interesting. Just a character that's completely forgot. I mean, we get a lot of talk about the mom, but we never see the mom, so I don't think the mom is actually in danger. I really don't. But Rue leaves the next day anyway, and yeah, Ali was going to help her, I guess, but she wants to do it alone, and I get it. Next. So Rue continues with the plan that, the plan I don't really understand because I haven't really been paying attention. But she goes to Laurie and her people and says, Alamo's beating me up and, I'm all with you guys. But then they all start getting funny with her and they're like, no, like, you can't just flip-flop all the time and blah, 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 blah. And then the hillbilly main one that we see, I don't know what his name is, the one who goes out with Faye, he's like, yeah, I'm going to kill Rue. Oh my god, guys, it's so hard. It's hard to think. Anyway, Faye kind of realizes, like, oh no, you're not a very good guy and all this. So when Rue is essentially trapped where they are again, and they lock Rue in a room, and she has to stay there all night, and then the next day they'll go with a plan, which I'm assuming will be next week's episode. And Faye kind of has a change of heart, and this was really intense. Like, it was really intense. And I feel for Faye, but Faye's also a dumb... anyway, she really, really annoyed me. So they essentially... Faye helps Rue sneak out of the room. I can't get my words out. And she says, look, let's go and get that money. The one that Faye said that money was in there. Not Rue. Faye said that. Let's all remember that. Faye said that, I believe. That's what she said in this episode. But yeah. They go down to the basement where the hillbilly inbred thing lives. The way this man did not wake up is ridiculous. But, we don't need him to wake up in the scene. But they were making so much noise, Rue and Faye. And the fake key didn't work. Of course it bloody didn't, which was a whole waste of a thing if it didn't work. Like, don't show us them building the key if it doesn't work. And then they get the real keys anyway. They open it up and there's no money. Faye then starts freaking out. And Rue's looking at the money, and he's like, well, meanwhile, there's a guy over there, the hillbilly guy, on the bed, like, fast asleep. And I don't know how he didn't hear it. They should have knocked him out, really. But anyway, he needed to wake up, I get, for the dramatic end of it that we got. Inside the safe was IDs, and it was and Rue noticed it was that girl that got taken away earlier in the series, and we never saw her again. And it's assumed that she's... let's not go into where she might be, because I don't think she's dead, but she ain't living, let me tell you that. So that's a twist. So Alamo and Laurie are kind of working together in some way with this, I think. Let me know what you guys think on that situation. But anyway, what's her name? Faye is then screaming because there's no money, and then she's like, everyone thinks I'm stupid, everyone thinks I'm this, and this. And and I get why she thinks that, but girl, you are stupid. You said the money was in there. It wasn't. So I don't think Faye's making it out alive at all. I really, really don't. Rue, I can see making it out, but Faye, I really don't. She'll just be, I don't know. Rue's kind of destroyed her life anyway by bringing her into this kind of world, but... yeah, anyway, that's their characters. Next. So let's get on to Cassie, Maddie, and Nate. Boring old Nate. We'll do Nate last, I guess. Cassie is struggling because she lost her acting deal thing. She has no OF anymore, and yeah, she's panicking, she's spiraling. Maddie comes in and is like, I'm about to hit you, and she does hit her, which I love. The acting on both of them are really, really good. Even Sydney Sweeney, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people don't like her, but I don't really like her either. I think she's, whatever. And I've seen enough of her body to, yeah. But she is a good actress as this character. Yes, granted, she can only play one role, but she is really, really good in it. And Maddie as well. I need to see her in more things. I really, really do. She's a phenomenal, phenomenal actress. But essentially, they come up with a plan to get big again by Maddie, no, not Maddie, Cassie sleeping with the guy, this actor who we saw last episode. And it works. And then Maddie gets a picture. And then Cassie gets a picture. And then Cassie uploads that to Instagram. And that gets Cassie loads and loads of views. Maddie also finds the finger, Nate's finger that we got from last week's episode, and she realises that they're all in trouble, essentially. Lexi then lets it spill on the phone, I think, yeah, to Maddie that Rue is in some kind of trouble. So Maddie then finds the finger, Nate's finger, and realises that Cassie is in a lot of trouble money-wise and all this. And I'm sure Cassie gets tied up at some point in the episode, and that's like a whole thing. Like, of course we have to have her tied up, like, of course. And it's not even like just her sitting there like this. She's all like, yeah, it's weird. Sam Levinson, you're a weird guy. I might make a video just about him, just on like what his deal is with women and the corn industry, and like you're in the wrong industry if that's all you care about. It's really weird. But regardless, Maddie then is like, okay, I'll help you. And she goes to Alamo, and Alamo wants her to wear this black swimsuit-ish thing. It barely has any layers. It's just, there's nothing to it. Of course there's not. Maddie looks incredible regardless, I think. And she doesn't, she looks beautiful and she's very sexy, but she doesn't come out with that kind of confidence, if that makes a lot of sense, which is, I don't know if I like that or not, because it's still weird what she has to go through. But I'm glad she wasn't. She was being sexualized in that moment by Alamo, but as an audience member, I wasn't sexualizing her, even though I know I'm a gay man. But I feel like we're not supposed to sexualize her in that moment. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because it is very weird. And she gets into the pool, or jacuzzi, with Alamo. This is Maddie I'm talking about. And Maddie is very nervous. She knows what she has to do and doesn't want to do it. But she's essentially asking for help from Alamo to get them out of this debt thing. And so, we can save Nate, because Nate only has 70 some hours to live. Forgot to mention that. But who cares, because Nate is, where is he? Who knows? Not in this show. So essentially, once Maddie's in the pool, she's like, look, I need your help. There's a lot of money and stuff like this. And he wants to see her toesies, and which is like a really weird thing to say, like toes. Just say, show me your feet. Like, let's not say toesies. It's fucking weird. Maddie's like, okay, but also like, I'm trying to have a serious conversation with you. But Maddie knows to be scared of him. She's not an idiot. But I was just like, why, Maddie? Why are you getting involved with this man to begin with? Like, that was annoying. I thought Maddie was gonna outsmart him, because that was like. And I think she still will. I think Maddie will get out of it, because Alamo's whole thing is like, a woman will never like get the better of me. And I think the idea is that these women will, Maddie or Rue or both. But yeah, I was so scared for Maddie that I thought, oh my god, she's gonna have to do something sexual. And then it's kind of insinuated that that's what did happen at first. And then I think it's revealed like that's not what happened. And she says thank you, and he's like, of course. And then you think, oh, like, he's actually just got a soft spot for Maddie. And he even says, like, later down, we'll get to that. But, okay, so then he goes to help, and they go to the location to drop off the money. They drop off the money, there's nothing in the money. The money man guy who is captured Nate, Alamo shoots him. Yes, we all live happily ever after. Meanwhile, in the entire episode, Nate has been tortured. He doesn't even really get a goodbye. He doesn't even get one great scene in this past couple episodes. It's kind of ridiculous. I know Jacob Elordi wasn't really on set a lot towards the second half, but yeah, so he gets captured again, or he's always been captured, I don't know. He gets put underground, and he gets measured as well, which is creepy. Don't tell people how tall you are. That's how you get buried alive. Anyway, and all Nate has once he's buried is like a pipe so he can breathe. And then, of course, what goes down? A bloody snake. And then I was like, oh, Nate's dead. I knew exactly Nate was dead. And when they find him, it is really sad. We see Nate's body. And I do feel bad for him. Like, I know Nate has done a lot of bad things. I'm not saying he's a good character. I'm not saying he's a bad character. He has always been kind of morally grey. Like, he does some really messed up things, but then he's kind of made up for a lot of things from what I remember. Bearing in mind, I haven't seen it for a very long time, the last 2 seasons. But I was sad to see them just waste his character. Yeah, it sucks because this character, there was a lot to be said about him and his sexuality and what he was going through as a man who was dealing with, maybe he was pansexual, maybe he was bisexual, maybe he was just interested in, I don't know. It was something they could have went down. And then the trauma from his dad, there was a lot that could have been done with this character. Instead, what we got is him just being tortured for like 4 episodes. Like, okay. And the big reveal of someone dying is Nate, who we've barely seen and barely care for anymore. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? But I did like Maddie and Cassie's reaction to it, acting-wise. It was very believable. I really liked it. Cassie, of course, screaming her head off, and Maddie, face acting, brilliant. But she says thank you to Alamo, I believe, and Alamo's like, just because I got a soft spot for you, he's basically like, you owe me. Like, you're mine now. Which is so terrifying because Maddie thought she was on the same level as him, but he's just knocked her down to like the rest of his women. Like, he's like, I'm up here, you're down here. And I'm so scared for Maddie, but I'm just like, girl, you're smarter than this. You're way smarter than this. Like, the fact that you even got involved with this man is just, anyway, it actually does annoy me, but no character's perfect. But that is the episode. I think overall, I am actually enjoying this show now. It's been a bit of a weird one. I've gone up and down on it so much. I don't care if we ever see Jules again. Same with Cassie's sister. I'm more interested in Cassie at this point. I don't like Cassie, but I don't think we're really supposed to like Cassie. But yeah, Jules, I don't know what the show wants me to think of her, but I don't like her just because of how she's written. Nothing else. And then Lexi as well, just go away. Like, how are you going to speak? Because she spoke to Rue badly, that really annoys me. But the acting in this episode is really, really good. It's amazing, actually. The opening was probably my favourite part of it, but as a show, it is very entertaining. You can't deny that. Yeah, that's the episode, guys. I'm going to go because I'm hot and I'm bothered and I can't get my words out. So thank you all for watching. My last couple of videos have done very, very well, so I do really appreciate everyone who's watched, commented and all that. So big thank you. Also, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I also have a Patreon down below. I'm going to post every Sunday to Monday because posting them can be a bit tricky with my internet and all that, but they'll be on a Sunday or a Monday. So if you do want to check out those videos, which are full reactions to movies that I've already seen, so yeah, go check them out, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye.